So I'd like to recognize Dr. Hector, who has his hand up as well.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I have a couple of comments. First, I appreciate Dr. Davis's restatement of the purpose of the study from DPH's perspective, and I find that reasonably consonant with that of the community, which is, I believe, a long-term health study of the effect of both the acute exposure and chronic low-level exposure to petrochemicals that will help them to answer for themselves and their community, as well as the rest of humanity who's experiencing the same thing to lesser degrees in many other places. How dangerous this is. To do so, it needs to be study of people. My second comment is that it is clear that I think the CAG would appreciate that those two members of the SOC who have not signed the charter not be removed from the SOC for refusing to do so. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hector. Are there any other comments or questions from members of the CAG? I'm checking in the chat too, just to see if anyone has posted anything there. Craig, I'll look to you in just a second. I just want to check the chat, make sure I'm not missing anybody from the CAG requesting to ask a question there. Okay, Craig, I'm going to unmute you.
Thank you. I just wanted to advise the community that the CAG and I believe Dr. Verdella are considering holding our own town hall so we can answer the questions the communities have. So at this point, and Susan, I would like to facilitate this. I'd like to take a vote amongst the CAG members before we turn it over to the public Q&A. So
Craig, I'd rather if you could do that in the chat, just so we can continue to have time for public comment. Okay. If you don't mind doing that in the chat, then we'll make sure it's part of the public or part of the record.
Perfect. I will put it in the chat, but I insist that, and CAG members respond in the chat, I insist that the tally be read to the community.
So thank you for that comment. I think the community members heard that too, so we'll be able to do that probably during public comment period. So it is 4:35. We still have on the agenda some more time for direct Q&A with the CAG members, but I will, if we don't have additional questions right now, then I will start the public comment period a little bit earlier. I see something with Lori there. Go ahead, Lori.
Yes, in terms of getting the word out about the public comment, what are the plans for that? Because we pointed out a lot of means for the town hall to try and get the word out about that, and they were not implemented by the Department of Public Health, and neighborhood council meetings were missed, etc. So exactly how is the word going to get out to the public, and how can we be assured that the public will know that 30-day period of public comment is open? I'm not certain who that question goes to. Maybe Chris?
Chris, what we can do is we can go back and look at what was recommended before, and then come up with a plan before we get to that point, where the community's feedback will be solicited. So we'll go back to that.
So, Dr. Davis, just to clarify, are you saying that a more formalized plan will be shared?
Yeah, I think there's a point that's raised, so I think we need to go back and look to see what's there until we can come back to the proposal on how that.
And that does bring up a good point too, Dr. Davis, that in terms of communication amongst between the CAG and DPH doesn't cease just because there is not a formal meeting planned every month. Is that correct?
Is that a question for me?
Yes, I just wanted clarification.
Yeah, no, we're not stopping.
So just looking through the numbers again, if there is any other questions from the CAG. If not, I see I had 4 names so far on the public comment period, and I do just want to, with all of the community members who have taken time this afternoon to join us, this meeting is set up as a community advisory group type of meeting, which is why we don't have a more robust period for public comment. If this was a community or public workshop, it would have been organized differently. So apologies for not having a more amount of time for that, but we will get through as many folks as we can. Let me recognize Patty here. Go ahead, Patty.
Okay, I just want to disagree. I think this has been a DPH meeting, not a CAG meeting, because if it was a CAG meeting, we would have been able to bring up our agenda at the beginning. We would have been able to do this vote of no confidence in public, and there's several people on the chat I can see agreeing that this needs to be a public vote, and we should be able to state why we feel this health study is not on the correct path. So thank you.
I'm also seeing public making the same comment. They want a public vote verbally.
Sorry, I'm saying thank you, Craig. I'm going to go ahead and start the public comment period, unless I see any objection. Oh, I'm sorry, I see Brian. You have your hand up. Apologies.
Very quickly, I want to make it clear. I want the public to know as well. This is called a CAG meeting. It is not a CAG meeting. This is a DPH meeting. The only people that are set up as co-hosts who have operations ability are people that are paid by DPH in one fashion or another. There is no CAG member who has co-host ability. There is no CAG member that has the ability to speak up on his own. We are all muted by DPH. So please don't insult us by calling this a CAG meeting. It is not a CAG meeting.
So I am going to open the public comment period. Again, just for community members, if you wouldn't mind trying to limit if you could limit your comments to about 2 minutes, we can get through as many people as possible. Dr. Sistrunk, I think you had your hand up earlier, so if you do want to still speak, if you wouldn't mind raising your hand back up so I know that to call on you. I will start with Mr. Al-Najjar. I'm going to apologize in advance for probably not saying your name correctly. And I believe you have signed in 2 different times and you asked me to unmute this one. So hopefully I just unmuted the correct.
Hello, yes.
Yes, perfect. You have 2 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you.